here. You're ready. Welcome to my world.
Welcome back, everybody. It's I'm Ghost of Sparta. We're here to review and unbox the Imagination Works Vegeta from Bandai Tamashii Nations. We'll be looking at paint apps, sculpt, articulation, and accessories. Just before we get into the size comparisons and the rest of this review, if you're new to this channel, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. If you like action figure and unboxings of collectibles, this is the channel for you. Let's check out those size comparisons. Here we have the size comparisons against all these other figure lines. Now, Vegeta stands exactly 7.75 inches. And for the people that use centimeters, that's 19.6 centimeters. To be exact, 19.685 centimeters. And that's to the top, the very top of his hair. So that's his size comparison. So here are the scales for different action figure lines that you can see. And I have Hasbro's Lightning Collection, have Hasbro's Marvel Legends, Shfiguarts' Goku, and also his own Imagine Work Goku. So that way you know where he kind of stands. And Goku is supposed to be slightly taller than him to scale properly. And then we have the NECA Predator, who's just a beast with all the figures that I review. So you guys have that information. Here is Vegeta in hand, and I have to say I am really impressed with the improvements they have made with this figure compared to the original Imagination Works Goku. I actually have it right here so you can see a quick comparison for like sculpt work and also for the fact that Vegeta's actually wearing clothes. So this figure right here, he has a rubber gi for the top portion of it because he does have some actual like articulation with this with his torso and everything. And I know I haven't reviewed this figure, but you know, it's already been too long, so let's just get to the new one with Vegeta. So you can see that he's all hard plastic right here. It kind of has like a corduroy feel to it, and this Goku is freaking awesome. But now we get to Vegeta, and Vegeta actually has clothes. Now his Saiyan armor here is hard, and this is hollow. There's only like a double ball peg that's in here that's connecting his neck joint to his waist joint. Now this is all hollow, and then we have some butterfly joints here. But as for his for the reason why I say he has a costume on is because you could see here that there's no seams. Just like the Goku here, he has no seams as well for his arms, but they use like a rubber, pretty much like a silicone for his arms. You can see how it's squishy. Well, Vegeta doesn't have that. Vegeta actually has like a metal or a plastic body underneath that's able to move and articulate, but there's actually like a cloth. This is a cloth that he's wearing. You can see it's just like a costume, kind of like what they do with the Sideshow collectibles. So I'm glad they went this route. It fits the character so well, and it makes him stand out compared to the Imagine Works Goku and also to other figures. This is really neat. Now the only portion that is plastic are obviously the butterfly joints that are here, also the top portion of his pecs and his neck, and obviously his head. Those are the plastic portions of the figure. And then you have the gloves and also his boots. Those are all plastic. I mean, the whole figure is plastic, but it is wrapped. Whatever's blue is wrapped in a cloth. Let me pop off the waist joint real quick so you can kind of take a look what I'm talking about. So you can see right here, here's the waist joint, and then you can see the cloth that's been sewed all the way around it that they used to hide whatever, you know, body they have under here, which is probably just like a normal Figuarts kind of sculpt that they just made, because it feels like there's a body underneath there, and it's probably all molded in blue plastic, and then they just put this plastic, or not plastic, but they put this cloth over it to give him like he's wearing his Saiyan uniform. It's a little piece that's in there that you need to put in so that way it can swivel correctly for the waist and it doesn't tear that. And then you can see the inside of it, it's completely hollow, nothing too crazy. And then it just pops on right here. Oh. Where are you at, joint? There you are. Pop. There we go. Now Vegeta's back to normal. So as for sculpt work, very nice. You can see the sculpt work detail in the face. It is Vegeta. Now with the rest of the accessories that we'll go over in a little bit, you know, we all know the Imagine Works has interchangeable eyes and a couple face plates, which are really nice, but the paint apps and the sculpt look great. The black that they use looks very animated. It's a nice flat black. We don't have any shading on his face or anything like that, but we do have the detail that they were able to sculpt in for his, you know, his face, you know, certain things that makes Vegeta Vegeta. We also have some sculpt work for his neck. It looks very nice and bulky. Same thing for his pectoral muscles. And you can tell that he's, you know, pretty ripped through this. I mean, he has muscles underneath here that they sculpted, but the clothes obviously hide it. Now there is some shading on the gloves. You can see that there's some like greenish blue color here on the gloves, which looks really nice. I don't know why they chose that color. It kind of looks weird. It kind of looks like it wants to glow in the dark, but that's the color they chose. But there's no shading on the Saiyan armor, but you can see the sculpt work that they did, and they really took their time with this figure. I want to say that I think they gave this figure a lot more love than they did with the Goku. So I hope you guys like that. Let's hit the like button for this Vegeta. This Vegeta is freaking phenomenal. Hitting the like button does help the channel. But let's go to everybody's favorite portion of this review, and let's see how well this guy articulates. Head moves up, moves down, swivel, arm rotation, hinge, swivel, bend at the elbow, swivel, hinge, waist swivel, leg moves forward, leg moves back, swivel, bend at the knee, swivel, hinge, toe hinge, and Vegeta's spread. We're gonna look at the accessories that this Vegeta comes with from ImagineWorks. And you can see that he has 3 pairs of hands. He actually has 4 pairs of hands if you count the fisted hands that are on him in the packaging. I didn't put them on there because they're just fisted hands. You already seen them as I was reviewing the figure. Now you can see that he has some like slightly grasping hands. He has open palm hands, and then he has his martial arts open hands. But he also has this set of hands here. Now it's gonna take me a little bit to kind of go over these hands right here, but these are kind of help him to look like he's crossing his arms. As you can see that this little peg hole here, there's a little plastic piece that's inside of the figure, or when you remove the forearm piece or where his gloves are, that you need to plug into there. Now you got to be very careful, because if you don't do it right, you'll actually pull out the plug that goes in here, and then you'll see like a little plastic joint. And so that plug just plugs right into that little plastic nub, and then you can plug that into here, and then you can have him posed with his arms crossed. I thought this was a neat figure, or not figure, but a neat accessory that they offered with this figure, due to the fact that, you know, Vegeta's known for having his arms crossed. Another thing I like to add about this is that, you know, there is shading all around these gloves, like I mentioned in the beginning of this review, and you can see that they're that all the way around. One thing I also want to add is also this figure does come with a stand. You can take a look at that now. It's a very normal plastic ImagineWorks stand. Goku came with one as well, and it holds the figure very secure. Here are the head sculpts of this ImagineWorks Vegeta, and I have to say that with these head sculpts, I think this company, which is Bandai Tamashii Nations, they're doing something really incredible. Now I have the head sculpts and face plates arranged in a certain way. Each one has a number. Like if I take this faceplate right here, and you could see on the back of it, you see the number 2, and then you can see the number 2 at the top of the skull right there in the back of it. Now each of these faceplates have a specific set of eyes. Each one gets 3 eyes each, so that way you can interchange and be able to customize the way he looks, or you can pose him with. So all of them kind of have about, you know, look like they have the straight pair of eyes, but there's a few of them that actually have eyes that are leaning to the left or to the right, like this one right here. This one's looking toward the right, which looks really nice. And you can see the sculpt work on these are done immensely well. This one's looking straight at you, screaming. And look at the detail of that. You can see the teeth, you can see the inside of his mouth. They even painted the roof of his mouth red. You can see his tongue, you can see the detail of the tongue. I just couldn't believe how much detail that they were able to put on this figure. And obviously because it's a larger figure, you're going to be able to get that amount of detail. These eyes here are looking to the left, as you can see, and the detail they used to paint these eyes look really nice. They're not using, I don't know if they're using a sticker or if they're using some kind of printing technology, but these eyes look nice. Look at that. They look really fantastic, and they plug in. And the reason why I mentioned the whole number deal on that is because they have a specific way they plug in, like a puzzle, just like them having these puzzle pieces here to plug in on the back of the forehead of the actual head sculpt. So you can see this one's number 3 there for the eyes. So I thought that was really neat that they offered that. So each set of head sculpts comes with their own set of eyes. They each get 3 sets, one looking straight at you, one looking to the left, and one looking to the right. So that's more than enough to be able to customize and pose this figure in any orientation that you want. And with that being said, the only gripe I have to say about that is that we didn't get a screaming head sculpt for his normal powered down Vegeta face. I wish we would have got that. That would have made this figure a 10 out of 10. But some companies always have to save money somehow. Let's get to my final thoughts. We have reviewed this figure. We've looked at the sculpt work, we looked at the articulation, we've also looked at the paint. And I have to say, this figure is really a 9.5 out of 10. This ImagineWorks or ImagineWorks is doing a really good job with these 1/9 scale figures. I really hope they do Piccolo and other figures in the line, and hopefully they give us a kind of an updated version of the Goku, because that Goku, the leg articulation was terrible. This figure completely defeats that miles ahead. The fact that you're able to split this figure's legs and make it do the splits. The articulation on Vegeta is far more articulated than that the first version of Goku that came out. And the reason I say the first version of Goku, like there's another version coming out, I just wish there would be, but pretty much the 1.0, the very first release of the Imagination Works figures. Paint apps on this figure is phenomenal. It looks really done professionally. You can see the shading, you can see the actual sculpt work, and they really took enough time to give out that detail. And it's showing you that you're paying $100 for these figures, and this figure is worth every penny. My only one gripe is that we didn't get a screaming face for his powered down form. But other than that, this figure comes with everything you need. Now, if they threw in a blast effect, oh my God, this figure would be a 10 out of 10. That's the only thing that I think Bandai or Tamashii Nations needs to start adding or sell on the side. They could easily make a $50, set of accessories for blast effects for these figures. Anyways, with that out of the way, this figure is a definite pickup. If you guys haven't picked up this figure already, I would recommend it as soon as possible, because this guy will look beautiful on your desk or in your cabinet, wherever you want to display him. This figure would be there. I would also recommend picking up 2, because you would want to display him in his Super Saiyan form, and also you'd want to display him in his powered down form. Well, with all that being said, guys, I hope everybody enjoyed this review, enjoyed my final thoughts. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you like unboxings and action figure reviews and collectible unboxings. This is the channel for you. And like I always sign off with, I'll see everybody on the next review.